Investing money while living in the UK as a first generation immigrant. A topic and a sentence that you probably never hear get talked about on many other videos on YouTube. If you subscribe to my channel, chances are that you probably came across one of my visa and immigration videos on YouTube and you're living in the UK on a visa. But many of us who live in the UK as first generation immigrants don't actually know what to do with our hard-earned cash after we've saved it. So in this video, I want to demystify the concept of investing money and what we can do as first generation immigrants to increase our wealth. Hello and welcome to the Nimble Nomad. My name is Ariun and this is the channel where we talk about money and investing related tips, tricks and hacks to survive and thrive in the UK. In case you're new here, I'd really appreciate if you can smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you are a first generation immigrant like me and you're watching this video and you don't know what to do with your cash, don't worry, I was the same when I first came to the UK. Many of us who moved to the UK have done so in order to be able to afford a better quality life and support our families back home through the purchasing power that the British pound affords us. But the one thing that we don't like as immigrants, and I know this from my personal experience, is we like to keep that hard-earned cash in our bank accounts and we love to earn the 0.1% that the bank affords us. But this is where we actually start going wrong with our money management skills. After I started making videos on money and investing on YouTube, I had so many comments from first generation immigrants that asked whether investing money would impact their visa status or any way of getting permanent residency. And the simple answer to that grand old question is no, it wouldn't. Many first generation immigrants don't even know that they have the ability to invest money and increase their wealth. Trust me, because I have done it myself. So what are your options for investing your hard-earned dinero?
You talking to me?
Now, before I get into the concept of investing and the different options, I want to clarify upfront that in this video and for the purposes of simplicity, in my opinion, investing is in two forms and it can mean a lot of different things for different people. But here I'm going to be talking about investing in the stock market and I'm going to be talking about investing in property. So the three options as first generation immigrants, in my own personal opinion, that are available to us are investing in the stock market directly through a brokerage account. The second option is to invest in UK property and get some rental income. And then the third option is to invest in pensions. So the first thing that I want to talk about is investing in the stock market. So by far, this is one of my favorite ways of investing. And basically, if you want to invest on your own in the stock market, then there are two mechanisms or accounts basically through which you can do this. So one is to open a general invest account. And basically you can do this with a whole swath of providers. And then the other option is to open an individual savings account or an ISA, which is basically a special government mandated account which protects you from any taxes on the money that's invested through an ISA. Now, if you don't know what an ISA is and you want more details on it, I've done a video of this and I'll add a link of it there so you can go and check this out. Now, basically what you can do, all you need in order to be able to invest into the stock market is you need to be able to have a national insurance number, and you can do this if you are living or working in the UK. You can go and apply for one. The second thing you need to do is you need to be living in the UK and have legal residence status in order to be able to use an ISA or a general invest account. I think general invest accounts you can do otherwise as well, but ISAs you definitely need to be living in the UK. And then the third one is you need to have money. So you need to have some cash to be able to invest. Now, contrary to the thinking that a lot of people have, you don't need a lot of cash. You don't need 10,000 or 1,000 or 5,000 pounds. You don't need any of that. You can start for as little as £10 on some of these platform providers, and the new ones actually have zero fees when it comes to investing. So usually when you invest, there's a brokerage fee that's associated with investing. Some of the new providers don't have any fees, and I'll add links of which providers these are. I've done reviews of them on my channel. You can go and check those out, but I'll add the links in the description below. So by far, I think this is the easiest mechanism to invest. Now, if you don't know what to invest, there are a multiple number of options. Again, I've done videos on this, so I'm not going to go into the details, but basically investing in the stock market provides you the opportunity to earn two types of wealth. So one, you can generate passive income through the form of dividends that these companies pay out. And then the second one is you can appreciate your wealth through the stocks that you buy. So if the value of the company that you bought appreciates over a period of time, then basically your wealth appreciates with that as well. Now, the second option, and this is one of my least favorite options, is to buy a buy-to-let property or a rental property. So basically what you can do, and this depends on your visa status and your immigration status, and if you have a lot of cash saved with you, you could basically put a deposit down and get a mortgage for a buy-to-let property. So basically what you'd be doing is, in the UK, I think you need about 25% of the value of the property in order to be able to buy a buy-to-let property or a rental property. And depending on your visa status, a mortgage will be assigned to you and you can do this. Now, I know that if you're living in London, this may seem like a lot because prices of houses in London are really expensive. But if you look at the north of the country or outside of London, then the average price of a UK house is anywhere between 200 to 250,000 pounds. Now, if you convert that into 25%, you could technically buy a rental property for about £50,000 and get a mortgage on it and pay that mortgage off through the rental income that you're generating. Obviously, it depends on the yield of that rent, but you would also have to pay tax and maintain that property. So the reason why I don't actually like this as an immigrant especially is because if you're living as an immigrant, chances are that you're on a work visa, and if for whatever reason you lost your job, you would have to make sure that that rental income covers the monthly mortgage payments on that property. And if it doesn't, then you will have to sell that property, or you may lose the property altogether if the bank forecloses on it. So that's a really high risk strategy. The other thing is your rental income actually gets taxed. So you have to deal with this whole process of filing taxes every year. And I'm not a big fan of that. I just want to reduce my interactions with the tax authorities in the UK. So I don't want to deal with that. So this is another reason why. And then the third thing is that in the UK, there are a lot of instances where tenants just move in and then they squat on that property. And it's just a whole process and a half to get rid of these sort of tenants who aren't paying rent and living in your property for free. So you need to be really, really careful with this as well. So this is where I think property becomes a less favorable option for me, but then you're allowed to do your own research and look into this. And then finally, option number 3, and this actually is one of the easiest and one of the most neglected formats of investing, is investing in pensions. So in the UK, you have a format of investing and saving for your retirement, which the government has set up. And most employers in the UK offer a workplace pension. Actually, it's a law for workplaces mandatory law to be able to offer a workplace pension. And if you invest or if you save into these pensions, basically the money that you put in is tax-free up to a certain point. And basically in certain situations, your workplace could match your contribution. So I used to work for an employer where basically if I put in a certain percentage of my base salary into my pension or my workplace pension, then they would match it or even go over and above it. So at one point I was basically contributing about 20% of my base salary into my workplace pension pot. And obviously this money is then invested into the stock market, so then the value of this appreciates, and then you have a little bit of a nest egg left for you when you retire. So a lot of people who are immigrants aren't necessarily sure about what to do. They think they might go home, or they don't know whether, you know, the money will be accessible. But basically, if you're not investing in a pension, you're basically leaving money on the table, because this is money that could just be invested. It's tax-free. You don't pay any tax on it. It's just like saving in a bank account. It's just that it's locked away until you retire. Obviously, when you retire, the money will unlock irrespective of wherever you're living, and you will be able to access that as well. So if you don't want to do a workplace pension, then there's another option where you can do personal pensions. And again, the concept is very similar. The government ensures this is tax-free. So if you do contribute after you've had your salary come in, which means it's been taxed, what you could do is you could contribute into a personal pension, and you can claim that back from the government at the end of the year as well. So if you want more details on pensions and how they work, then I've done a detailed video about this. I'll add a link to this in the end cards. So please go ahead and check that out. But thank you for staying with me up until this point on the video, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.